All right, so good morning. I guess point that down.
There you go.
Good morning, Marriage Matters family. We are ready to go. We have our coffee. And hopefully you have something that you can have, like some coffee or some iced coffee or some tea, a breakfast sandwich. I don't know what you're going to use. But we are grateful. We are up, even though I can tell you right now I am sleepy. But we're up, and we're ready to sit and talk and have, have a conversation.
Amazing conversation with our extended family.
Yes, our extended family. Is that Miss Charlie?
Miss
Charlie and 21 others. Why we don't know who the 21 are? What we need
No, I invited them.
Oh, it should be 100.
Gave them the invite.
It should be 721 others.
Okay. Ain't Sherry is in the house. Good morning.
What you cooked this morning, Ain't Sherry?
Tell her nothing.
Don't say that. Hey Sherry, what did you cook? I'm waiting. I'm see if you're gonna type something in the chat. Good morning, Miss Charlie.
Good morning, Charlie. Getting those 10 in.
Oh.
Okay, I see you.
10,000 steps.
Good morning, Tabitha. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Tabitha. How you doing? Let me give you a wave. Yay.
That's all we know how to do is wave.
That's it. That's all we know how to do. Wave. She waved right back. That was really fast. So if you ask me to do something else, it's not going to be that fast, Tabitha. I'm telling you right now.
Well, and Sherry, after God and Uncle Bill, we thank you for making us part of your morning.
Yeah, we appreciate that. But you still didn't say what you cooked. So I guess you just don't want me.
What did that say? I just woke up. That means she didn't cook nothing. She just woke up.
That's your interpretation of that.
Huh?
That's your interpretation of that. I'm hoping that we got something to eat. But we're just trying to get some coffee in us and get ready. Last 2-3 weeks we've been talking about, taking authority over things. And we understand that, everybody goes through different stuff. And we get that. But we really want to just talk about, kind of not flipping the script, but we're going to talk about love and how to put that love into action. So we're going to go through some scriptures. We're going to have a conversation. And you are more than welcome to be able to solicit your views and points of views and all that good stuff, because it doesn't work unless you speak and talk. So we need you to be able to do that. Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, LaWanda. And see, what you have to understand is and Sherry and I are here. You forget when our birthdays are?
She knew.
I understand Sherry language. She said nothing. I just woke up. I understand.
You see the look on my face? So this is another day, and we want you as well as ourselves to take full advantage of this day. You are alive. You have strength in your body. You're able to move without assistance, and so we call that being blessed. So let's just take a moment. I don't know what kind of week you had. Let's just take a moment and pause. And remember, I said find something good in every day. Because there's no way that you can go through a day and you have to find it. If you feel like it wasn't there and you just had a hellacious day, find some good. It got to be there somewhere. You got to dig and look for it. Or it just could be staring you right in the face, which it could be your spouse, and that's supposed to be good. All right, so some people didn't take that right, but we need to take that right. Good morning, Miss LaMonica.
Hey, LaMonica, good morning.
What's going on?
Miss Patrina in the house.
Miss Burgess. So, when we talk about putting love into action, that could be different things. So we're going to focus on that so that we can put some things in perspective on how whatever actions we use in everyday things or when situations come up, I want to kind of, make sure that when we land the plane, that we talk about how that, encompasses your marriage,
Right.
because you have to put love in action with that. Because sometimes the person sitting next to you, or in your vehicle, or in your own bed, or in your living room, sometimes they don't always act lovely.
Thank you, LaWanda. We appreciate that so much.
Oh,
We
thank you, Mr.
appreciate
Wanda.
you sharing.
So, you ready to get started?
I'm ready to get
All
started.
right, so I got these numbered because I feel like I needed to put them in an order.
Okay.
So we're going to start with Hebrews 11 and 1,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll go to verse number 6.
Okay.
Now, I know you've heard this before. We'll say it again because it's going to be important for us to lay a foundation. All right. And it don't matter. Like if you want to use the Good News Translation or the NIV, whichever one.
Okay, so one is Hebrews 11.
And 1.
Is verse 1
And then,
verse 6.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes,
So to have faith is to be sure of the things we hope for, to be certain of the things we cannot see.
Mm-hmm. So, in the other version it says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Right.
So, it's the same thing because in both of them, it's talking about hope.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you can't see. You can't see hope. You can feel hope or you can have hope, but the thing is, it's the evidence of those things hoped for. And so you may not see them right now, but you believe in your heart that these are some things that you want to come to pass, and we don't know what that is. But
so hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen.
All right, then. Let's sit on that for about 30 seconds. What's that again? It's an expectation and desire for a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, whether you're married or whether you are, contemplating whether you want to be, in that relationship as far as you're engaged or thinking about a spouse, all of us have a story to tell. And so the expectation and desire for something to happen, I would hope that your desire is for something positive to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a relationship with somebody, excuse me, it's a bad allergy day. But if you're in a relationship with somebody, then your desires and hope for something bad to happen, then you might want to check that in the dating stage, so you don't waste any more of your time with a person that's already negative. And in your mind, maybe you're thinking that they're going to be more positive. No, they're not.
Right.
But the good thing about that, if it's a person like that, at least they're showing you who they are. They ain't taking nothing and hiding it. So the Hebrews 11:1, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So now we're going to transition to verse number 6.
And it says, no one can please God without faith, for whoever comes to God must have faith that God exists and rewards those who seek him.
All right, so it is a foundational piece. You have to have faith in order to please God. In order to please God, you actually have to believe that he actually exists, that his son Jesus Christ, that he sent down to, be a ransom for many. Mm-hmm. You have to believe that that was something that took place for us. Now, it says no one, and it ain't, so no one means it's an infinite number. No one can please God without faith. No one can please God without faith. So that means everybody. So the foundational piece is just to be able to talk about the faith and what it would take to see something in your life happen that you want to happen. You want it to actually take place. You want to see some movement in that area. So you have to have the faith, and you have to be able to speak something that may not actually be there right now in your grasp. Mm-hmm. And then you have to believe that the Father is going to actually do it. He's saying, don't come to me not believing, because if you doubt, I can't perform it. Because you're asking me to have my word do something that I don't even say it does. You must believe by faith that whatever it is that you are believing and trusting God for is going to happen. So,
but you know what? I think about their father in the Bible with the daughter when he said, "God help my unbelief." So even when we try to hope for things in our marriage, the good things, and we don't see it happening, and sometimes we're human. Sometimes we'll say, I want this for my marriage. I hope for this, and then it doesn't happen, and then we come right back and speak that negative thing. We have to stop and say, God, help my unbelief. These are the things that I desire for my marriage, but right now I'm just not seeing them happening. Things are not manifesting. Help my unbelief. Show me what I need to do, or pray, or say, or just not do it all and move back out the way and let you do it all. But help my unbelief in that area.
Amen. And so I really like how she phrased that, because we know that everybody have wants and needs. We got that. But it's really important that when it's always when you have relationships, the balance of one and the other that makes the whole work. The strengths that she has may be areas in my life that may not be as strong. Strengths I have may be some areas in her life that may not be strong. So when we talk about the love and putting it into action, when as you grow with your spouse together, you will find out that you're going to hit a patch. For whatever reason it is, you're going to hit it. And so you have to really dig deep and understand, the root of whatever it is, because it has to be identified, like we talked about last week and the week before. The devil is not in the business of granting marriages asylum. Like, I won't touch you all, but I'll touch your children. And I'll touch your finances. No, I want to destroy every last foundational piece of your life. Because if your marriage is strong, then you'll have power to be able to influence other people. I don't want that. If your family's strong with your kids, I don't want them to be able to go out and talk about how their parents, or talk about how they got through something. I don't want that. I want your marriage, I want your life to be an utter failure so that you don't have no impact on nobody.
Right.
So, when we talk about faith, and you're going to need that, it is a requirement of God. We just said it. We need each and every one of you to take hold and, really let that resonate in your heart. In order for me to please the Lord thy God, I have to have faith that he is there with me. I feel so alone. I feel so isolated. Right. Yeah, but he's right there with you. He said, seek after me. So that means that not in just those times, because that will make it really not good. But we're supposed to be, seeking and pursuing after God every day. In some way, shape, fashion, or form, we should be asking him something, talking to him about something. He's like we talk about resources. That's the main resource every day. So faith is the cornerstone of what you do every day. Right. You turn your key and expect your car to start. That's faith. Okay. Some of us, we put our debit card inside the ATM and we expect money to come out. That's faith. I'm just playing. All right. So, so the thing is, it's important that we look at that building block, because then that sets the stage for everything else. So, good morning, Miss Quinn.
Good morning.
We're going to now transition to Matthew. What we do? Matthew 21.
Okay.
And verse number 21 and 22. And then we're going to start asking our awesome family some questions. Preguntas.
And while we're doing this, please invite somebody in, share, start a watch party, do what you got to do. Let's spread the word this morning.
All right, so 21.
Okay, Matthew 21 and 21.
Here we go.
And it says, Jesus answered, I assure you that if you believe and do not doubt, you will be able to do what I have done to this fig tree. And not only this, but you will even be able to say to this hill, get up and throw yourself in the sea.
Okay.
And it will. But he's telling us that if we believe and don't doubt, so when we start speaking those positive affirmations over our spouse, over different situations, we have to, like Pastor Love say, have that bulldog faith and don't move. And just stand on that and know that we're not standing in it by ourselves, which is easy to do, to feel like you're going through it all by yourself, but that's what the devil wants.
Yeah. And so, that's why it's
okay.
How do we do that? Do I click it?
So hit view, and let's see. And click that one.
Click this?
Uh-huh.
Let me see what happens.
All right. What happened? We waiting on Tabitha.
Okay. We please forgive us. We're still trying to work on this.
We're playing around with Instagram trying to see.
She sent us a request, so we're trying to work two platforms.
Okay.
So hopefully it'll work. Oh. Hello, ma'am.
Hey, Tabitha. Good morning.
Uh-oh. You doing all right? She must
good thing that you can hear because I have all the kids in the background.
Okay, no, we'll work it out. I'm just glad you were in here.
You could probably hit mute on your end, or
oh,
I don't even
girl,
know.
you know we don't know how to work this thing.
You said hit mute on our side?
I should have not allowed the microphone on my side.
Okay.
Well, if you want to, you can do it again, and we can reconnect. If you, because let me see something. I'm gonna hit the three dots. Turn off. No, okay, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I'll come back.
Okay, all right. We'll be waiting for you. So, this is awesome because it's talking about not doubting, and so I know, and you can't be a human being in your life and you ain't never doubted something.
Right.
It doesn't exist. But we've seen time after time when God has showed us that when we don't doubt and we do believe, He comes through for us every time.
Right.
He makes a way where there seems to be no way. He does it, and he does it. Let me push this now. Let me see what happens. Then click that. Okay. So we're really working two platforms a day. So we're talking about, Matthew 21, 21 and 22. Yeah. So, no problem.
22 said, if you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. So, and that's another thing that Pastor Mike used to tell us all the time. I mean, he said it so much that it's just embedded in my brain. Speak those things that be not as though they are.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that this is saying. But we have to have that steadfastness, which, I mean, it can't be hard, but we have to remember that God was the creator of marriage. So He didn't put us in a marriage or allow us to be in a marriage to be miserable.
Yeah.
That's not what He wants for us. And just like, that's okay, don't worry about it. As long as you're on here, we're good.
We appreciate that.
Is that in that book, The Sacred Marriage, and Tabitha, I know you said you found I think you told me you found the audio version of The Sacred Marriage. He said if we start looking at our spouse like they're God's child, and I think I mentioned that last week or the week before, that it should prompt us to treat our spouse better if we're looking at them that, hey, this is actually God's kid. So, if I'm honoring the king, then I need to do right by the prince or the princess.
And we're actually gonna cover something. It's a scripture that's gonna kind of lend to that.
Okay.
So we need to hear from you. Faith is the substance of the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. In order to do something, you have to actually have an action. you're believing and trusting in God for something to take place, but then what is the action that you or Millicent or myself use in order to propel what you want to see actually take place?
Right.
You can have faith, but you need some action that supports it.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the chat, speak to us on some of the actions of love that you either use, that you do every day, because it's something that we can all discuss. So we're talking about.
Or how about this? I'm sorry to cut you off. How about this? What are and not describing the actual feat of what happened, but what are some areas that or a situation that you may have had with your spouse that you kind of failed in at that time, but then you went back and revisited and thought about the right action that should have been taken? And just share patience. Thank you.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
We're rolling through.
Yeah, that's a good one. So how many times are we engaged with our spouse and patience is we don't even know how to spell the word, at that time. So we have to go back and just think about those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Just being real and transparent. I did it this week, because my actions wasn't very kind or loving, but then when we talk about walking in humbleness with our spouse, their flesh may not be wanting to go back and apologize, but it's the right thing to do, and that's letting your spouse know that, hey, I acknowledge that I was wrong with what I did or what I said, and so I want to get that right with you so we can move forward. And it's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So we have to make sure that we do that.
And Tabitha said, speaking without thinking what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the thing is, we're trying to make sure that we share some of our, let's share some of our love actions, because there are some things in life that you'll go through in your marriage that you're going to love your way through.
Right.
But what does that look like? We're sitting talking about it. So, and Sherry said patience. It's other love actions.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, faith without works is there. So it's another love action that you can use in order to be able to push yourself through. Mm-hmm. We talked about faith, and then it also talked about the belief in God, but it also said, hey, you can do all that, but you still have to seek after me. So seeking after God is an action.
Right.
It's an action that's accompanied with the faith, because all of the things that we're believing and trusting God for, I think the mistake that I make is I am really like, hey, God, I have a timeline. You really need to fit my timeline. I expect the blessing to be, and no, it don't work like that. Mm-hmm. Because in order for us to grow in any kind of situation that we go through, a lot of times, and I'm learning this, is that we feel like the other person is the one that's just 100% wrong. And that's not it. If you're not exercising patience, if you're not exercising understanding or empathy or those type of things, the person could have done something, that's not right. But if you're going to grow and be able to be that balance between your wife and yourself, and then her being the balance between you and the husband, mm-hmm. then you're not what I'm saying, you're not excused from making the marriage grow just because you feel like you didn't do anything wrong. Right. Well, guess what? God working something out in you, because evidently you still need some work in that area. You might not have been the catalyst of the issue, but in order for the issue to, and we don't say go away, because that is not, in order for the issue to be addressed, and in order for whatever negative impact that is to be destroyed, mm-hmm. then it is our job to be able to find what is God's purpose in this. Right. We keep going through this. If we keep going through this, then there's an area that has not been either submitted to God. Mm-hmm. So that's why we keep going through this. Or it could be that we going through this, we're going to get through it, and then you are ready and prepared to be able to minister and say, whatever that is to a couple that may be going through the same thing.
Right.
And with them, it's going to take some time. It took you some time, it's going to take some time. So that means that they have to understand, or you need to help them realize that it took me and my husband a while.
Right.
So I don't want you to think that this is some, fast food restaurant of God where you just it's gonna go through and you're gonna get your pickles and burger and all that stuff. It'll come out and you can go get in your car and go home. It's not gonna be like that. So
now, what Aunt Sherry said, and this is so on point with what we talk about all the time, is was praying over the atmosphere of your home.
Yeah.
Because Aunt Sherry said you have to take time to pray, think how you want to say it, and say it with love and patience. Because when you thinking about what you want to say, love and patience may not be nowhere in that picture. But when you pray over the atmosphere of your home and say, God, these are the things that I need to address, but help me that they come out of my mouth the way that you want them to be said.
Yep.
And at the same time, help my spouse that their heart and their ears be receiving so that they can understand it the way you want them to get it.
That's right. Put that love into action because that's going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And it's still, and everything that Aunt Sherry said, it still to me you have to have faith. You have to have a building block of faith to believe that it's going to happen.
Right.
Timeline, get that out your head. You don't know. What you can do is you can definitely ask God to strengthen your patience or strengthen your understanding.
Right.
So that Lord, if I need an extra dose of patience or I need an extra dose of muzzling my mouth, so now give me that so that I can be able to help in this situation. I don't say something that causes the 10 steps that we had going forward to wind up being 20 steps backwards. Now we 10 steps behind zero negatively. So it takes that to really, gain that strength and gain that momentum, because you want to keep the momentum going. But I can guarantee you, you're going to hit a wall. But the deal is with that is you're going to pray your way through. You're going to ask God for what you need to be able to not survive, but thrive, in the situation. Because nobody be thinking about that. I'm thriving. I'm sitting there suffering. My heart is being torn up and stomped on.
Yeah.
I ain't feeling this. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm feeling this. So the thing is, we're talking about when we settle down and process one, listen, actively listen.
Right.
Okay? Actively listen. Good morning, Miss Lydia.
Good morning.
We got mom on one platform and daughter on the other. Oh, yeah. And so we're really wanting to, push the action behind the faith.
Right.
So that you understand that it's going to take a little digging in. It's going to take a little digging in, people. It just don't come like that now. So we're going to try.
Those tough conversations that they needed for growth.
Did we read this one?
No, we did not.
Okay. So now we're going to go to James chapter 2. Excuse me. James chapter 2, and it's going to be verses 15 through 17. All right. So here we go. All right.
So it says, suppose there are brothers or sisters who need clothes and don't have enough to eat. What good is there in your saying to them, God bless you, keep warm and eat well, if you don't give them the necessities of life? So it is with faith. If it is alone and includes no actions, then it is dead.
Faith without works is dead. So when you have situations in your life and you want God to do something for you, you have to find an appropriate action to face whatever it is. And you want to gain momentum. You want to put your foot in the ground And you definitely want to think about, and I hope that you will, if you find yourself on a treadmill and the problem is in front of you and you're running and you see me like you're not going nowhere, go back and reflect. Am I constantly doing the same action?
Right.
And if that action is not right, then there it is. I'm on the treadmill. I'm not going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're on the treadmill and we ain't going nowhere. So now that we understand about the faith without works is dead, then you, me, Millicent, all of us need to think about what's going to be the appropriate action.
Right.
One, you go to God. Lord, give me the strength, the understanding, and the tools.
That's right.
I need certain tools, Lord, to be able to do this thing. And I might not have them right now. They may not be what I might be missing some of those. But in this situation and what I'm facing and what we're facing as a husband and wife or a couple if you're dating, we need these tools so that we can be able to understand one another and be able to pray for one another, and then we can get through something that's pressing. But what we've talked about and what we've experienced over time is that you when you're dating, you better look and you better pay attention.
Yeah.
You know, all that obvious about how fine and how sexy she is and all that stuff. All right, but you better pay attention to some of the background, some of the other
see what's
stuff,
going on upstairs,
and see what's actually happening. Because you'll find yourself in a utopia of
Right.
So.
And then when reality hit, then you get knocked on your butt, and then you trying to recover. But I want somebody to tell me before I say it, what is the be intentional, be the example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Luanda said. Be intentional,
and
be the example. And so.
But I want somebody to give me the example of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What is the example of insanity? The definition of insanity. What is that?
Hold on, she had already typed something else.
What you do in those sentences? I just say, well, you don't do that for me. I had to explain that one day. Okay, let's see. It's hard because you'll mention something when they are not doing or nothing. Then the spouse may say, well, you don't do that for me. I had to explain everyone does not reach the same level at the same time.
Okay. Let me try to make sure that I'm understanding. So,
okay.
So let's say, I'm trying to, well, let me just, so Tavis said crazy out of your mind, that insanity, crazy, keep going, doing the same thing.
So okay, which way are we going?
Well, I wanted to make sure I acknowledge what she said because she's on another screen and they not.
Okay.
I mean, so the insanity can be two things. It could be the insanity of doing the same thing and getting a positive result, like the insanity guy. You keep doing all them exercises and stuff, and you'll look like him, or you'll look like the lady standing next to him with all them extra lumps and all this stuff what they have, and they don't have no fat. Or it could be
the other side.
The insanity of doing
the same thing over and over
in
again
a negative
and expecting a different result. So if you're doing something that's negative and you know it doesn't spark nothing but arguments and discord and distension and separation, but you expect, if I keep telling my spouse this or doing this, they're going to eventually get it. No, they're not. You driving a wedge. But between you is what's happening. So when we say step back and reflect, that means what part, and you said this earlier, what part of this is mine, and we need to learn how to own our part and go to God and say, look, this the whole situation, even though he knows all, but still he want that conversation with us anyway, period. So God, look, this is what's going on. This is my part, what I did, and so help me understand, help me get it right. Like you said, give me the tools, the knowledge, the wisdom to make it better. Okay, now let's go. She said reread it.
So she said some life events knock our emotional says some life events knock our emotional or intensity back a little. And so what I would say is that everybody has to, I can't say everybody because I can't speak for everybody. What I will say is that I would remind you to ask God to restore you daily. That if you're lacking some love, or if you're lacking some respect, or if you're lacking something, and you know that you have a heart for God and you have a heart for seeing your relationship with your spouse really become something better, Lord, restore me. Yeah. If I'm taking a hit emotionally, or restore me, give me what I need, so that if I got to beat a rock through all of this for a little while, then give me what I need to be able to do that, so that I can love my spouse through this as you love me through this. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah. So she said, go back and reread the first comment. Okay, it's hard because you'll mention something that they're not doing or nothing.
Or noticing.
Oh, okay. That they're not doing or noticing. I'm sorry, I can't read this morning. Or noticing, then the spouse may say, well, you don't do that for me. But you know what? What I want us to reflect on is, instead of saying or explaining that everyone doesn't reach the same level at the same time, that's when we need to open our ears. Our spouse may look and see that somebody's doing something for their spouse and say, well, you don't do that for me. We need to pay attention. That's what I say. Not saying that we have to go out and do the exact same thing, but when your spouse says, well, you don't do that for me, pay attention. And then that's when we have to step back, reflect, and what is our spouse's love language? And are we catering to their love language? That's the question. I mean, we gotta, so don't just take it as an attack, like, well, okay, well, that's not us, and everybody don't get to that level at the same time. So that's more of us being in a defense mode, I'll say. So again, to walk humbly with our spouse, to move forward in a positive direction, we need to, don't take it as a personal attack or take it as a put down to what you may not be doing, but take that time to listen and try to understand and get to know your spouse better on a different level.
Yeah, because I guess if somebody says that, it may sound like a defense, but they're actually trying to communicate something to you. And if we have already the wall set up that we don't want to listen, if somebody's saying you don't do that for me, that might be a need that they want for them, that they want for you to fulfill. And if you keep going in that circle, and that comes up again, and it comes up again, but out of stubbornness, you feel like, I'm gonna do this. Okay, well, we're on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Why are we gonna keep doing the same thing?
And so again, using that personal example.
Okay, small. Okay.
That's why I made sure that I went back and did yesterday what I was supposed to do as a wife, and as a spouse, and as a partner. You have to make sure that your spouse understands that they are loved and appreciated, and you got it, and that you're trying to do better. But don't just keep saying, oh, I got it now, I'm trying to do better. Get it done, because we're not promised tomorrow.
And that's important to really focus on that.
Yeah. And I say things, and LaWanda, that's leading by example.
Is she on both? I'm sorry.
I don't think so. I think she's on here now.
Oh.
So,
okay.
But LaWanda, what you said, I say thanks more. That's leading by example.
Yeah. That's
small steps. Don't discount the small stuff, because it's gonna start adding up. What was that? The lesson we did about the financial, the financial. Y'all have to go back and look at that one. We did that one last year. February last year at church about making those
Oh,
financial
those deposits.
deposits in your marriage. You
You
know,
know.
financial deposits, but making those deposits in your marriage is an investment, and it takes work, it takes time, and it takes patience and understanding.
Where do we
So hold up, we gotta go.
gotta read some more comments.
Back up here.
So Bridget, okay, so we can start right here with LaWanda and then go down to Bridget. Okay.
Even though your spouse arrive home from work or leave at work, give them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna give me a kiss. See, I already practiced it. Put it into action. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just being
Oh,
silly.
goodness.
But so read it so they can hear what LaWanda said.
Okay, so even when your spouse arrives home from work or leave at work, give them a kiss, even if that's not the norm. Even the kids say, "Wow."
Mm-hmm.
Always on stage. You
Always
never
on
see.
stage.
You never know what they see or what they hear. Always on stage.
And then we got Bridget.
And Bridget said, "Love language is important, but for me, it takes the Lord to put a finger on it." And that's okay, because if you're not getting it, that's what He's there for. God, I may not be hitting that area. So again, give me the wisdom, the knowledge, and the tools to make sure that I get where I need to be.
No, we will. Tabitha.
That's what, and Tabitha said, that's where you personally need to step back. Yep. And pray and ask God to give you His eyes and not human eyes, because you will get mad when you get checked.
All right then.
That's it.
Keep it real.
That's it.
Keep it
exactly
100.
Right.
So nobody is exempt from disagreements and uncompromised or no compromise.
Right.
Nobody's exempt from that. The growth in those areas, and I really encourage all of you to find some time to sit and talk. It don't have to be some planned out what you're gonna discuss. Just sit and talk. And we always, no matter what, even if there's some tension or some stuff like that, we still go back and we look at positives and say, it could have been worse. I remained quiet because I didn't want to say something that was going to negatively impact us. So, yes, I may have shut down in your sight, but if I would have spoken, said something that was nasty or ugly out of defense, then how do I go back and fix that? So why even engage in allowing that to come out of your mouth?
Right.
Even if it's going to be a little downtime or a little separation time of no talking. At least then you process it, you don't say nothing foolish, and then you can go back and sit and talk. And even in that process, we always go and we still say about the positives. Look where we are now, and look what we've been through, and look what we've overcome, and we've overcome it, and we've defeated it, and those things are not even an issue. Now, we're facing this. This is a little bit tougher, but we're going to go through it, and we're going to conquer this, and we're going to be able to speak to it because we don't live through it, and we've allowed God to be at the top, as opposed to we're gonna switch punches with each other, and He's not in it because He's gonna say, "Well, you ain't put me in it. I'm gonna stay out. I'm gonna let y'all punch each other and beat each other up." But when you put me in there, I can get rid of some of that other stuff because you come into me, and I'm really trying to expose some things that maybe you just didn't cover it up. And I want you to address those things so that your marriage can be stronger. Because yes, you strong here. Yes, y'all did this, but hey, we need to take some time over here. And you might not like being over there for a while, but when you come out and you're able to speak to that thing, and you've applied some faith, which we've talked about, you've applied some action, because that's what we're kind of talking about now, the action. What are you going to do? And then you do those things, and I said this because I feel like if you feel like you being the stronger one, then you find in some solitude and say, God, all right, I used up all of mine this day. I need you to restore me for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I'm finna go. Hopefully I won't be doing the same thing, but I want you to restore me because I'm pouring out.
Right.
And I want my marriage to be better. And I want my husband to you know, or I want my wife to. And so restore me if I'm the stronger one right now.
Right.
So that we can make it.
Get through this.
And get through it.
And then if your spouse is not reciprocating or not getting there, then again, being that strong one, you have to ask God to also give you the strength and the faith to be able to pray for your spouse and to cover your spouse, even if you ain't feeling them at that time. You know, you still need to make sure that you're praying for your spouse so that they are covered and still not getting attacked even while y'all going through what you're going through. That's important. Now I want to go back and say what Aunt Sherry said. She said slow to do some of the tasks, ask to do, and have to ask more than once, but eventually gets done. But okay.
Yeah. I don't know what person. Well, I can't speak. I'm a Johnson, so I may be told to do something, and it may be a task, and it may not get done. The very first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
But ain't sure I'll make sure I remember to give him a big hug when he finally gets it done. And hopefully it'll put a smile on his face.
No
comment. Okay, Tabitha said, think delivery is also Tabitha, delivery is extremely important.
Monumentally, if that's a word.
Extremely important.
Because it's not the gift. It's how you package the gift. Yeah. So, and when I say that, you ought to just see sometimes how she looks when I say that. She's like, I want to hear that.
Like, okay.
But you need both. So, we got these 3 scriptures we need to cover before we finish. And we're still going to cover.
Let me catch Wanda's comment. It said, trying to incorporate relationship rules and reasons is hard. Example, no phones after 7 or 8. So that means no using phones after 7 or 8 o'clock. Have you ever had similar rules to try to knock out distractions? Yes, and I'm just gonna be honest, especially look,
Wanda, you picking right now. Don't you type that no more. Don't you type that no more, Wanda.
That has been what was that? Who was that? Had a thorn in their side.
It's been a thorn.
That has been a thorn in my side as a wife of an administrator. I'm just saying. We live and live in color, transparency.
Wanda, you stepped on all 4 of my feet and only got 2 of them. So, it's been, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll go on and say it. It's been tough. It's been tough. And every kind of sound that my phone makes, it's just like pit bull ears just go up. Because she knows, I understand, boom, 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 boom. Because that'd be the Microsoft Teams. And sometimes they can't catch me through the phone. Boom, boom, boom. And then she just look. What you gonna do? So I'm working on it. It's not where it should be, but I have that sometimes just did this. So I take the phone and I lay it flat down so I can't see it. And then we gonna do what we gonna do. Now in this emergency, like yesterday, I couldn't do it. But she understood that because she knew how serious it was. But
so the thing is, if you say, or like if you got a project going on, like a couple of weeks ago, I understood that. It was phone calls, text messages all throughout the night till 11 something at night. I'm like, really, y'all, come on. Okay. But they were working on a project. It was due. I get that. But on the regular, after all that stuff didn't calm down, to me. And I'm not an administrator, I'm a nurse, so I understand, but then I don't understand, and just being honest, it's like, okay, you be with these people all day long. What time do me and the kids get? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So that's important. Even my realtor over there now, we got to shut it down. Because at the end of the day, the work is the work, but you got a spouse and you got kids, And I really feel like it's unfair that they don't get your time. You
Mm-hmm.
already gone all day long. You know, we got to have a cutoff time.
So we've had some issues with that,
Mm-hmm.
and we're working through it. Lawanda, you know, you see my finger where?
No, you gotta go over
Yeah, you picking today. But the thing is, you know, be real though, there are sometimes when we give ourselves time, and out of us, let's forget, Saturday, well, sometimes Saturday, but when we make an agreement that we shutting it down, then we hold each other to that.
Yeah.
But yes, you gotta find a way to stop. You can do what you can, and then when the day is over with, you gotta find a way to shut it down,
Yeah.
because there's no real healthy. It's not healthy to keep going like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you know that you have to balance other things that pour into your life positively. You can't not pour back because you're so stuck on one side.
Right.
So, in some instances, that works out very well, and in some instances, it can be very
Right.
intrusive. If
And
that's the word
so
I
the
would say.
thing is just to make sure it's not an ongoing, long, drawn out thing like this is happening all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, and I read this, I thought it before, but then I read it too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the other spouse can almost feel like you're cheating on them with the job.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And that can be a lonely place. So that's why we say you have to put certain boundaries in place.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you never want to do is make your spouse feel like my job is more important. I got to get this done,
Mm-hmm.
But it's an all the time thing. Yes, you have certain projects, you get that stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
But when it becomes an all the time, everyday thing, day in, day out, you got to put some boundaries in place. It's a cutoff period.
So we're working on it. We're working through it. It's gotten better. It can be a little bit better.
It has. It's gotten better.
I tell you what, but like we transparent with you all, because she brought it up. Now we're able to share with you that we have to work on stopping, because her job doesn't stop. It's like she can get to a point, but it doesn't stop. It's like a lot, and it's the same thing with me. But there has to be an agreement between both of us, and so. One of the things that I can say that Millicent will do is if she shuts down the job and then she leaves and go on the porch, that's like a unwritten communication. Hey, you need to stop. Mm-hmm. And so I wrap up what I need to wrap up, and then I go out there on the porch and we sit and talk, or we do whatever we're gonna do. We love the porch. We need to probably just do a porch lesson.
Yeah, and you know what, Lawanda, that's true. And I can say, as a wife, just being transparent, I done been on that side too.
Mm-hmm.
That, so she said, or not the job, but who has that much access to you like that other than me?
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a sore spot.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, I decided to hire a handyman to reduce sessions. Stop it! You won't get a whooping today.
Girl, you
Lawanda, we need to have a
yeah, we're gonna have to, I ain't gonna let you do that. They already see it now. Okay.
Oh no,
I know.
wrong thinking. We got it. All right, that was a way late response.
Okay.
Never mind, we got it.
Thank you.
But
wait.
family time, work time, my time, all with keeping time with God and all of it. And that's the key. That's absolutely key. But
that
the
balance.
thing is, some of us struggle with that balance. You get what I'm saying? So it's a work in progress, but that's what it should be. Everything has its own place. Everything has a cutoff time. But it just depends on how you handle it. It's like you know it, but then in your mind you got 50 different things going 100 different directions. So we got to get control over that. And that's a work in progress. So again, praying, God, give me the tools and give me the wisdom to get that done.
So go to I guess try Colossians 3 and 23 because
Okay.
we got about 5 minutes, so I want to at least cover one of these three. So
Okay.
3 and 23 Colossians.
Righty.
You just passed it up.
3 and 23.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Colossians 3 and 23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as though you were working for the Lord and not for the people. I used to always think that was just flat out related to the job. It is not.
It's talking about everything. Area of your life.
Colossians 3 and 23. I'm going to read it again. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as though you were working for the Lord and not for people.
Mm-hmm. Because now it helps you to change your focus. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing this for Lord, for God, there's a level of excellence that I really want this to be.
Right.
Whether it's work, whether it's somebody asks me to go help them on something, mm-hmm. whether it's, your spouse, I want to do this with excellence because I'm doing it as unto you, Lord. And if I'm not going to give you no junk, then that's going to afford me not to give my husband or my wife some junk. Right. I'm going to make sure that what I give is at the highest level of what I can give, all mm-hmm. that I can give, mm-hmm. and help me to be able to transfer that in a way that's genuine and real, and that can build a bridge of change, not just for me, but for my spouse. Mm-hmm. And when I do that, because I'm doing it for you, Lord, I know that it's going to be, it's going to work out. It's going to be exactly what I wanted it to be. That's why I wanted to read that scripture. When you do it as unto God. So that means that you are not going to cut no corners. You're going to give it your very best. And after that, he can take your best mm-hmm. and he can transform your best into a whole nother level. Right. So that when you need that extra patience, when you need that extra strength, when you need that time mm-hmm. to replenish and be restored, you will be ready for whatever you have to face. And right. then your husband can appreciate and understand that there was a load on your shoulders he could have put there, and you was able to handle it because you took the time mm-hmm. to say, Lord, I can't handle this by myself. Right. I do need some extra, and you were able to give me that through however many weeks or days or hours that we had to go through this. And now my husband has now mm-hmm. seen and understood the load that was on my shoulders. And now he's been able to release that because you've given me the strength. So I just wanted to say that because that was going to be a real building block scripture mm-hmm. of being able to say how we put love into action. We put our faith into action. Mm-hmm. And we watch God do some things that we probably couldn't do. And if you find yourself doing things that you couldn't do because you asked God for that, then I don't care who it is, your spouse gonna know, hey, she would have responded like this. Right. Normally he would have said that. So now you can see that that's gonna be a building block for you. Mm-hmm. And it can afford you some love time, some emotional connection that's positive, right. Because those things can break some of those other chains that's trying to keep you bound up. Mm-hmm. Put the love in the action.
So I want to leave y'all with this last question. What type of return are you expecting out of your investment?
What you say?
What are you expecting out of your marriage? Does it look like what you're investing into your marriage?
Are you investing pennies? Are you investing dollars? Are you investing hundreds? Mm-hmm. What are you investing? That's a big deal.
Yeah. So what kind of return, hey baby, what kind of return are you expecting out of your investment? I need y'all to think about that for the week.
And an investment is a deposit, people. So if we have to take it to another level, what are you depositing in your marriage that you expect a return? And you know that if you're trying to grow some money, it don't happen overnight. That's so right. As you keep depositing Hey, it's storing up for you to.
Are you accruing interest?
We in a math meeting, y'all.
All right.
We done lost. Oh, it stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
gone. We're gonna share that one.
Okay.
Okay. But anyway, we're out of time, guys. But we have enjoyed
Yes.
communing with you all this
All
morning,
right.
because this has truly been some meat for the soul for me
Yeah.
this morning. It's been great.
Yes, sir.
We love each and every one of you. We thank you for giving up your hour on Saturday morning to be with us. We ask you to like the video, share the video, do a watch party, subscribe. I don't know. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. We need to increase our subscribers, guys, on our YouTube channel. So go on there, click the bell so you can get the notifications. Share it. Encourage somebody else. Bless somebody else.
It's what, at least 75 videos on there.
Yeah.
So they got something that can help them.
Yeah.
It's there somewhere. It's there.
So we're going to give y'all the rest of your day. We thank you. We love each and every one of you. You all have a great and wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all next Saturday.
On Marriage Matters, because what?
Your
Marriage
marriage matters.
matters. All right.
Bye.
Y'all have a great day.